guys, and welcome back to another episode of Remembering Forgotten Memories, or Throwback Thursday, whichever you want to call it. They're both good. Since this week was the 4th of July, it totally had me thinking about and just reminiscing on the big-ass 4th of July parties my grandpa used to throw at his house. 4th of July and New Year's Eve were both huge for him. Those were his big party days of the year. I mean, he threw birthday dinners throughout the year for every family member, but those were piddly shit in comparison to the 4th of July and New Year's Eve parties. The 4th of July was like the one where, I mean, he had a big house and a big yard. That's how this worked, but he always had like a couple hundred people come to it. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Yeah, a couple hundred. That is not an exaggeration. That is not my little kid brain remembering it wrong. No. He had a book at the door for people to sign on their way in, and every year I counted the people that signed the book, and I was usually in charge of the book and making sure people signed it on the way in. It was legit that many people, because I counted. Oh gosh, but they were so much fun, and just, I don't know if maybe this part is my little kid brain, glowing it up essentially, but it seems like the weather was always so good back then, and we just had shit weather for the 4th of July in my adult life. What is up with that? I don't know, global warming, but he always had the hot tub going. He had a big ass hot tub. It wasn't just one of those little cute square ones. No. He had the huge kidney shaped one that was big enough for at least 20 people to get in at a time. So yeah, don't at me. But he had that going. He had the barbecue going. He had literal commercial drink coolers. I think originally he rented them before eventually buying them after so many years of doing it every single year. That were filled with sodas and beers and you name it. He had those all throughout the backyard at various stations and things, upstairs, downstairs, because he had a split level yard, along the stairs, tons of those around. Downstairs, I mean, he had his own professional bar. Yes, he was licensed and the license was on the wall. I often helped back there too, even though let's just ignore the fact that I wasn't 21 yet or anything. But doesn't matter. It's okay. I was in a private residence, therefore it doesn't matter. But I wasn't drinking it. I was just helping him mix and bring them out and collecting up glasses to clean them and stuff after. Yeah, it was the stuff like that. So don't get weird at me. But there was that. He'd have his entire garage emptied out, and all the folding tables, table after table after table after table on both sides of the garage, to have shit ton of people in there who could all eat at once. So for when the food was ready, there was that. We kind of had that for New Year's Eve too, but it would be there'd be a time for that, but then there'd also be the time that we take the tables down and clear it out as a dance floor. So versus 4th of July, they just stayed up because people would just eat all day because there was food constantly coming in, because my grandma would start cooking the night before. We usually came over there in the morning because my mom would help her, and the kids would help set all the stuff up, which sounds tedious, but actually it was a hell of a lot of fun. I always loved it. The takedown always was a process of several hours too, but that's beside the point. But they did that. But then most of the people that came also brought a dish as well. So there'd be the tables down in the rumpus room that would have food across them in a buffet style. There'd be a whole line of dessert tables in the garage. There'd be food up in the kitchen. It was a whole fucking thing. It was a whole ass thing, and it was so cool. There'd be the drink station with the big ass coffee machine and the tea station and all the things of creamer and sugar cubes and you name it, the stir sticks everywhere. Obviously everything would be decorated to the hilt. The downstairs TV in the afternoon would be on. For whatever the fuck reason, it seemed like Gone with the Wind was on every effing year. What is up with that? What is up with that? Is that even a 4th of July movie? I don't know if it is, but apparently it was a tradition with them. And then as it got into the evening, they would watch, like, actual fireworks shows. Except for those of us who defected to, like, go out to watch fireworks shows or, set them off in the street. The only way this worked with parking was that all of the neighbors for, like, several blocks around were also all invited to this thing, too. In exchange for letting his guests, like, park all up and down the streets and everything. And not care if they got blocked in, because they were close enough to just walk to this thing. It somehow worked out, but oh my god, it was a big deal. It was a big fucking deal. But god, it was a lot of fun. I miss that so damn much. And the crazier thing was knowing just how many of the people that were invited to these things were all, like, relatives and distant relatives, like second cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins, third cousin twice, like, that kind of shit. Like, all of those, like, at least 100 people right there, just relatives. That's not even, like, counting the people that are, like, friends, or, hey, I brought this person with me to the party, hope you don't mind. Like, it was a whole ass thing. Every freaking year. But it was hella fun. And as one of the kids at these parties, I kind of would just, like, take it upon myself as the oldest grandchild to try, at least as best I could, even though I have social anxiety like crazy, to at least try to be a social butterfly, to try to talk to each person at least once throughout the course of the evening. Never mind that I am a child talking to these grown-ass adults. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. I felt grown up doing it anyway. Did anyone tell me to do this? No, I took that upon myself. God, it was a lot of fun, though. It just, I feel like people don't do that anymore, do they? Not like that. And I'm not sure that this was really a common thing back then for people to do. I think it was just a him thing. And good God, I miss it. Like, he died in 2003. It's been a long, long time. Oh, God, they were fun, though. They were so much fun. And, like, just so many different memories just of conversations that were had, of getting to interact with all the people, for getting to hop a ride with somebody to go watch fireworks at so-and-so place in the evening, and then come back to do the cleanup after. It was like a whole ass thing, like, every year, and I looked forward to it weeks ahead of time. We'll never forget the year that I decided to be a rebel, though. I think this was like 1997. Don't ask me why I remember that clearly, but I do. I decided I was gonna be a rebel. I'm gonna wear all British flag stuff. It's still red, white, and blue. But we were originally Brits. We defected from them. So I'm rebelling, and I'm repping for the Brits. Yeah, I know. In hindsight, this sounds stupid, but to, like, 12 or 13-year-old me, this seemed very legit in the moment. But God, I triggered the shit out of some old people that day. Oh, they were mad. I mean, doesn't help that these people, a lot of them fought in, like, World War II and Vietnam, and I'm over here being a little dick like this. Like, self, knock it off, suck it up for one day. It's just such a culture shock now, thinking of how different it is, like, now, like, we don't even, like, do anything. Like, we'll go look at fireworks, that's about it. Especially since the pandemic, like, that's really it. Like, we don't even have anyone over, which sucks. But no, like, even just, like, the decorating for these, like, all the streamers and the balloons and the flowers and the vases that were also color-coded red, white, and blue. Like, I remember the blue ones, they technically weren't even real vases. They were, like, who remembers that, like, clearly Canadian, like, seltzer water drinks? They make them again now. But, like, back in the 90s, they were in, like, dark-ass, like, cobalt blue bottles. Well, he would, like, bulk buy those from Costco. I would drink the shit out of them, because they were, like, my favorite thing for a long time. And he would keep the bottles. And then 4th of July would roll around, and he would use them as the blue vases for the carnations that were in red, white, and blue that he'd fill them with. Oh, gosh. I don't know how I didn't end up with any of those bottles after they passed. I don't know. I feel like I should have. given how many of them I personally drink. But, um, but gosh, like, there's so many little things that, like, it'll be the most minor little thing, it'll remind me of those, like, even just, like, a certain way that chili is made, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, it's just like my Nana's chili that she would make for the 4th of July, ah! Or, like, those little pinwheel sandwich things, like the spirally ones, like those, like, somebody always brought those, and that just feels like such a 4th of July thing to me. Or, like, ambrosia. Like, that New Year's Eve was, like, the only time I would ever see ambrosia, so, like, that pings in my head. It's, like, 4th of July thing. Obviously, those, like, 4th of July cakes with, like, the strawberries and the whipped cream and the blueberries that make the flag. Obviously, 4th of July. Seemed like we always had those every year. Don't really see those that often. I think I saw one a couple years ago and was like, oh, somebody still makes them. But, that's not that often that I run into them. I think you have to, like, make your own, basically. But it's crazy, like, even thinking of all the places we used to go to watch the fireworks that are now no more. Or, like, they exist as places, but they don't do fireworks at them anymore. I'm like, man. Especially ever since, like, the California wildfire season's becoming, like, a yearly thing, they've really cracked down on the places that could do fireworks shows, so I get it, but it sucks. But I get it. But yeah, I get nostalgic for that. I get nostalgic for all the people that used to go to those and realizing how many of those people definitely aren't around anymore. They were, like, elderly then. They're definitely not still around now. It's just crazy. It's totally crazy to think about. And, like, of the ones that are still around that we've just lost contact with for one reason or another, it just, I don't know. It almost makes me sad thinking about it, but they were such good memories, like, in the moment, that, like, I don't want to forget them. Like, pretty much nothing I do now lives up to them. But I have those memories on such a pedestal in my head that I definitely don't want to let go of them. So, I don't know, did any of you guys, like, make that big of a deal out of, like, 4th of July parties, or, like, was this just, like, kind of a one-in-a-million dude doing this? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like of people I've talked to, no one else really did all that. So I'm like, were we the only ones that made that big a deal out of it? I don't know. But anyway, I just felt like sharing, so anyways, that is about it. So, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.